Okay, so we're going to continue into the NoFins warm-up part of this. Again, just bearing in mind that we don't want to hold stretches. A warm-up is much more about a dynamic movement, getting the joints moving, getting the muscles working, but not necessarily holding them for too long. So the first pose we're going to do is called the horse pose, or goddess, depending on whether you're a man or a woman, I guess. So taking the feet quite wide, with the toes just pointing out to the side, so we're wider than hip width. And then start to negotiate a bend in your knees so you're coming to a wide squat. Now you want to watch that you're keeping the tailbone tucked under so the bottom isn't sticking out. And when you're ready, breathing in and taking the arms up. So it's a bit like the haka without the tongue sticking out and the chanting, unless you want to actually have that. So get the sense of really breathing into the chest so that you're opening the chest as you hold the position. And after a few breaths, you'll start to feel the muscle burn coming up in the thighs. So just try and stick with that sense of discomfort as you breathe through it. Holding for 2 more breaths. And slowly releasing. And coming back to standing. Just give the legs a little bit of a shake. So we're going to repeat that one more time with a little bit more movement from the upper body. So coming back into that position, bending the knees, bringing the arms up to position. This time we're going to breathe in. As you breathe out, crossing the arms and coming into forward bend, taking the hands to the ankles. Breathing in, crossing the hands back and coming up to standing. So we'll do 2 more of those, breathing in. Breathing out, coming forwards. Breathing in, coming up. And 1 more, breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in to come back up. And release. Give the legs a shake. Okay, so we're going to take the legs wider now. And then bending to the right side, coming down to a squat. So this leg is out straight, preferably with the whole of the foot on the floor, but if you need to bring the heel, that's fine as well. And then we're going to slowly move over to the other side. So taking a couple of breaths on each side, and then moving over. So we don't want to hold the stretch for too long, just getting some movement into the adductor muscle, so really important for the power of the kick in NoFins. And 1 more to this side. And then coming back to the centre, lifting up onto the fingertips. Relaxing the head and neck. Bringing the hands onto the hips. Then taking a deep breath in to come back up and release the arms. So we're going to turn the right foot now out to 90 degrees and the left foot in. So the left foot's in by about 10 degrees, the right foot is 90 degrees. And then start to bend the front knee. So the idea is that the hips are level and they're pointing this direction, but the knee, the arms and your gaze is going to be out towards the right, and this is the warrior 2 pose. So really good at bringing strength into the legs, opening the hips, opening the groin area, breathing deeply into the chest, and just keep your gaze out along the right hand. On your next breath out, and you bring the right elbow down onto the right knee, and then breathing in, taking the left arm over the top so that we're making one long angle from the top of the left hand all the way down to the outside edge of the left foot. Keep the breath flowing, rotating the chest to look up towards the ceiling. Taking one last deep breath in. Breathing out, looking towards the floor, and then using the top arm to bring yourself back. Relaxing the hands, turning the feet back to parallel. And then we'll repeat on the other side, so taking the left foot out by 90 degrees, bringing the right foot in by about 10 degrees. Just watch that we haven't got jazz hips, so we want to straighten the hips in this direction and have them pointing directly forwards. So breathing in, taking the arms up to shoulder height, bending the left knee, and the gaze is out along the left hand. So things you want to watch in the warrior pose is just to look down at your big left toe. If you can see the big toe, then you've got enough opening here. If the knee starts to drop in, then you're risking damage to the knee. So being conscious of that left knee being open and resting above the left ankle. Breathing deeply into the chest. And then breathing in. Next time you breathe out, bringing the left elbow onto the left knee, taking the top arm over and stretching from the outside edge of the right foot all the way to the top of the right fingers. Rotating the chest to look up towards the ceiling. When you're ready, breathing out, looking at the floor, and then taking the arms up, straightening the legs, releasing the hands, bringing the feet parallel. And then we're going to step the feet in a little bit more narrow, so a little bit back to where we were with the horse or the goddess pose earlier. And then slowly start to make your way down onto the floor. So we're coming to a squatting position. If you can't put the heels onto the mat, then you can pop a block or blanket underneath each of the heels, so you've got a steady base for the hands. And we want to put one elbow on the inside of the knees. Make a fist with one hand and place that fist within the other hand, and then gently pressing out the elbows so that you're creating opening across the groin. And if you're comfortable in this position, you can close your eyes and just focus on the breath, otherwise just take your gaze down at the floor. Okay, so you can spend as long as you like in this pose, as long as it's comfortable. This is really, really good for opening up across the groin and getting movement into the hips. It's so important for NoFins. A lot of injuries in NoFins, particularly around the knee, come from inflexibility and tightness in the hips. So the more hip openers you do for NoFins, the more that's going to benefit you. So from this position, we're going to bring the right shoulder to the inside of the right knee, placing the right hand on the floor, and breathing in, taking the left arm up, and we're turning the chest towards the ceiling. So it's a twist, still having the hip opener, and really get the sense of the opening across the front of the chest. Keep the breath flowing. Breathing out, bringing the hand back down. And we'll repeat on the other side. So nestling the left shoulder in the left knee. When you're ready, breathing in, taking the right arm up and rotating as if you're trying to look up towards the ceiling with the heart. Breathing out to release, bringing the hand down. Taking the hands behind for support and coming down into cross-legged position. So again, if you find it quite hard to sit upright cross-legged, then use a block and sit on the first third of the block to help you keep an upright spine while you're sitting. So we'll just move to another twist in this position. So when you're ready, taking the left hand onto the right knee, the other hand behind you, Breathing in, getting a sense that that thread through the crown of your head is lifting you up towards the ceiling. And then as you breathe out, the twist starts at the base of the spine, so the waist twists, then the shoulder, and lastly the head to look over your right shoulder. And slowly coming back to the centre. And we repeat to the other side, so taking the hand to the left knee. Breathing in, lifting and lengthening the spine upwards, and then as you breathe out, rotating from the base of the spine, so allowing that spiral to move up the spine all the way to the neck. And just coming back to the centre. So bringing the soles of the feet together, we want to draw the heels as close into the groin as is comfortable for you, taking the thumbs to the instep. And all you need to do for this position is use the strength of your buttock muscles to open up the groin. So each time you breathe in, squeeze the buttocks, the knees will start to come towards the floor, and as you breathe out you can just relax. So continuing with your own breath, squeezing as you breathe in and relaxing as you breathe out. So this pose is known as the cobbler's pose or butterfly. And sometimes in gyms you've been taught to bounce the knees up and down, but that's not going to do anything for your hip joint at all. It's much better to use your own muscle power to very gently squeeze and stretch the groin than to bounce up and down. So just squeezing one more time. And release. Bringing the feet back to cross-legged. And then we're going to take the right foot and either nestle it into the inside of the elbow, the other arm. The idea is to try and bring the hands all the way round so that you've got the whole of the lower leg like a baby. This is known as rock the baby pose. If this isn't going to work for you, it's absolutely fine to hold the foot and just rest the hand underneath the knee. And the idea is we're just going to gently rock from side to side. So whichever way you're holding your baby, gently start to move from side to side. If you're quite flexible in this position already, the higher that you lift the foot towards the head, the more of an opening you're going to get in the hip here. So as you do this, you can close your eyes if that's more comfortable, but just be conscious of keeping the lift in the chest so that the spine is still upright, and just gently rocking your baby. So these are the kind of poses that you might want to start using either before your NoFins if you're wanting to stay relaxed and keeping the heart rate down, or perhaps post diving. So we're moving out of the sort of warm-up phase and really coming into a phase of either gentle warm-up or post diving. So relaxing and bringing down the right foot. We're going to switch to the other side. So whichever way you held your foot on one side, you can repeat that on the other side. So taking the hands around or just supporting the lower leg and gently rocking from side to side. Relaxing the foot, come into cross-legged position. So just checking which leg is in front, because we're going to swap over halfway through. Taking the hands in front of you, just lifting up onto the fingertips, breathing in, lifting the chest, lifting the heart, plugging your tailbone into the floor, and then as you breathe out, start to explore going forward. So we're coming into a forward bend, but you want to keep the sitting bones and the tailbone as close to the floor as possible. So relaxing the head and neck down when you come to the furthest point of your forward bend. Just keeping the breath flowing. And slowly walking the hands back to the centre. And then we're going to change the cross of the legs, so whichever leg was in front now comes behind. Again, making sure there's complete contact with the sitting bones, the tailbone on the mat. Taking the hands forward. Breathing in, lifting the chest. And as you breathe out, start to explore going forwards. So the idea is trying to bring the belly and the chest to the floor rather than the head. So as soon as you go as deep as you comfortably can, then you can relax the head and neck so that the neck is in line with the spine. Slowly walking hands back up, and then we're going to come and rest on the knees. So resting with the feet flat and the bottom onto the heels. If this is uncomfortable, you can block a block or a towel or a rug in between for something to sit on. So we've done quite a lot of work on hip opening so far. What we're going to do now is look at the feet, the ankles, and get some movement into the arms and the shoulders and the muscles around here, which are obviously very important for the arm movement for NoFins. So first of all, we're going to breathe in and work on the arms. So just get the sense of lifting the chest, nice long spine. When you're ready, breathing in, taking the arms up, pushing up towards the ceiling. And then taking the right elbow with the left hand, bending at the elbow, and then we're just gently going to try and draw that right arm behind the head towards the other side. So you can pulse the movement, it's not a continuous stretch, you can gently ease over to one side and release. And just keep that movement going. Check in with how the shoulder joint, the tricep muscles, the muscles in between the shoulder blades are feeling. And then bringing the arm to the front, straightening that right arm, and then we're going to press the left hand, so we're trying to draw that arm across the body and almost behind us. So stretching through the deltoid across the top of the shoulder, through the tricep muscle. So again, gently easing the stretch. And you can back away, just go with what's comfortable for you. And releasing down. So we'll do the same on the other side. Breathing in, taking the arms up, stretching towards the ceiling. Taking the left elbow this time, and gently easing that upper arm over to the other side. Bringing the arm to the front and stretching across the body and easing the arm, almost as if you're trying to bring it behind you. the arms a little bit of a shake. So from this position now, we're going to tuck the toes under and rest the bottom down onto the heels. So it's just a counter pose for having the toes pointed straight. If you're comfortable in this position, breathing in, taking the arms up. Again, pressing towards the ceiling, and we're going to hold this stretch for 3 breaths. So breathing deeply into the chest, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. As you breathe in, stretching up, and you can gently relax the stretch as you breathe out. And on the next breath out, releasing the fingers and releasing the arms back down. Bring the hands forward, give the feet a little wiggle, coming back down. So the next movement we're going to do is a really intense stretch to the top of the feet. So go very, very gently. You may not get very much lift in this at all. But obviously for NoFins, and the same with monofin as well, it's really important to have the flexibility in the ankles so that we can really point the toes. So go with what is comfortable for you. So we're sitting back on the heels, taking the hands back and very gently starting to tip backwards, so we're lifting the knees. And the idea is to try and lift as high as you can to get a real stretch through the top of the feet. So there'll be a point where this becomes quite uncomfortable. So just go to that point and then gently relax down. Move forwards, giving the feet a little bit of a stretch, counter-posing in the other direction. So that's the kind of movement that it's worth doing frequently but not held for a particularly long time to start to get some real flexibility in the feet, both the back of the feet and front and around the ankles. So releasing down. Okay, now coming onto your back. So slowly making your way down, rolling the spine down and bringing the knees in towards the chest. You can gently rock from side to side, hugging the knees into the chest. Okay, so from this position, we're going to try and take the hand to the outside edge of each of our feet. So this is known as the happy baby pose, and it can be quite difficult to actually be able to reach the feet. So if this isn't possible for you, you can clasp around the calf muscle or just supporting the tops of the thighs. Anywhere where you can just keep the feet here, just don't pull around the knee. So wherever you can hold the legs, the idea is to separate the feet quite wide, and we're trying to draw the knees down towards the floor. So it's almost as if you're trying to draw the knees towards your armpits. And again, you can pulse the motion, so gently squeezing the knees towards the floor, and then release the grip a little bit. Relax. And again, drawing down towards the floor. So again, this is a gentle hip opener. Really nice to do if you're in your final relaxation part of preparation for a dive. So you might be just wanting to lie on your back, but this keeps the hips open, especially for the NoFins kick. Or it's a really nice one to do at the end of the day's diving. So you can hold this position for as long as is comfortable for you. When you're ready to come out, just bringing the feet back together, wrapping the hands around the knees and gently rocking from side to side. Dropping the feet down to the floor. We're going to roll over onto the right side of the body and using the hands to come up to sitting. So we're going to do a couple of breathing exercises now. The first one that I'll demonstrate is called alternate nostril breathing, and you'll be using the right hand to block one nostril or the other. So the right thumb will be pressed against the right nostril, and you can draw the first two fingers into the palm and use either the ring finger or the little finger for the left nostril. So you can just have a go now, just moving from side to side. The left hand can just rest on the left knee and finding a comfortable sitting position, so either on a block or if you want to rest on the knees. So when you're ready, taking the right thumb to the right nostril, breathing out through the left, breathing out, breathing out, breathing in left, 2, 3, 4, crossing over, breathing out right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Crossing over, breathing out left, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in left, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in right, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out left, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in left, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in right, 2, 3, 4. Crossing over, breathing out left, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So continuing with your own breath, counting in for 4, breathing out for 8. And when you come to breathing out of your left nostril, make that the last alternate breath that you do. And when you come to the end of that breath, just relaxing the hands back down onto your knees. So that's a balancing breath, a really good one to do before you go for your diving. Breathing out for twice as long as you breathe in is well known as a relaxation technique. It brings the relaxation response to the forefront, so it's a really good one to do to help with relaxation right before you're diving. You can also incorporate a breath hold in with it, so with that one we would do 4 in, a hold of 16 and breathing out for 8.